So the title of my research project is called The Perfect Dad: Redefining Borders. And so I chose this title because my main focus on this research project is about fatherhood and the characteristics that make up the perfect dad. God of War is an action-adventure video game that follows the journey of Kratos after he leaves ancient Greece. The game begins several years after his departure from Greece, and we see a version of Kratos that we are not familiar with. Instead of a bloodied warrior, we see Kratos as a father of a young boy, Atreus. The game began production in 2013 and was not officially released until 2018. The game's main focus is the father-son relationship that is established by Kratos and Atreus. The concept of fatherhood has never been truly explored in the gaming industry until the arrival of Kratos. During its production, the director of the game, Cory Barlog, also became a father. Through this life-changing event, Barlog discovered this new inspiration to depict Kratos as a father. Through this depiction, Cory Barlog and the Santa Monica Studios team are able to explore a version of Kratos that the fanbase has never seen before. The main character is Kratos, who is a Greek god, and he attained this status of Greek god after killing the previous Greek god, Ares. And so, originally Kratos was a Spartan warrior who rose to the rank of general, and during his rise to power, he swore vengeance on every Greek god in Olympus to avenge the death of his brother when he was a child. And so, after completing this path of vengeance, he escapes to a new land, Midgard, to live a normal life with his new son, Atreus. And so his son Atreus is also a demigod, and in this video game he represents the humanity that Kratos lost while Kratos was in ancient Greece. And so the dynamics that Santa Monica Studios and Cory Barlog, the main game director, like to focus on in this game is that God of War produces a new perspective on fatherhood and what truly defines this aspect of fatherhood. And it also demonstrates the effect of empire on fatherhood and also without empire. So in leading up to this game, Kratos is escaping the empire of ancient Greece and he's entering this new empire of Norse mythology in Midgard. I'm going to be focusing on fatherhood in relation to without empire and trying to resist empire. And so the main problem that I'm going to be focusing on in this research project is how does empire challenge, encourage, support, or destroy the human characteristics and ideology of fatherhood? Through close examination of the character development of Kratos and Atreus on their journey, I have come to the conclusion that the role of empire destroys the human characteristics of fatherhood and molds them into something that is irrational and unrealistic. Empire forces its subjects to abide to the empire's needs and desires, which evidently create a society where the empire is maintained. Through Kratos' journey, he is able to develop his own definition of a father by establishing a relationship with his son that is contradictory of the society that Kratos resides in, and evidently breaks the tradition of empire. By establishing his own identity as a father, Kratos is able to transition from a god to a real, genuine human being. Since God of War was recently released in the past year, there are very few sources that dive into the game's core. However, there are many sources that tackle the intricacies of fatherhood, and few that explore the character development of Kratos. For example, in an article posted on GameSpot, Alessandro Filari explains how Kratos is, quote, mature and deeply personal. This transition from a rage-filled killing machine to a sensitive and thoughtful father is important because it draws significant attention from the audience and forces them to relate to the protagonist. The typical gender roles of a father are under construction through this game. Scholars such as Nancy E. Dowd argue that the associations that align with the term fatherhood have changed drastically since the 1970s. Although there is a transformation of fatherhood in the recent years, the role of the father is still studied disproportionately compared to motherhood. Many imperialistic views of empire would argue that the presence of an empire allows humanity and society to thrive. By instilling an empire within society, the people would be able to follow a guide and live a lifestyle that is evidently provided for them. Kathleen Wilson, a contributor to Gender and Empire, argues that instilling gender roles through empire is a way to establish a relation of power that shaped, quote, social institutions, privileges, expectations, and experience. Nancy E. Dowd argues that stereotypes of fatherhood and gender roles are in place because society, quote, tends to count fathers less, notice them less, and understand less about the correlations of fatherhood and childcare. These stereotypes that society places upon fathers are the result from people disregarding the effort that fathers put forth. By disregarding this correlation, fatherhood will continue to be disregarded and eventually against the norm. The concept and ideology of fatherhood is an essential aspect of society that still remains a mystery. Through the journey of Kratos in God of War, we are able to witness the phenomenon of a male protagonist that is attempting to write his own definition of a father. The ideology of fatherhood is incredibly overshadowed by motherhood, that it has become a rare commodity for the public to witness a story of a father. Through this analysis of Kratos and his development, people will be able to witness the obstacles of a father and evidently begin to recognize these flaws as normal. And so, in conclusion, after I am done finishing this research project, I hope to explore the identity of fatherhood and to allow the public to better understand what it means to be a father. The concept of fatherhood is so undermined in comparison to motherhood that it's become so rare to think of fatherhood as a struggle. And so by the end of this research project, I would like to hope that people will begin to understand the struggles and obstacles that fathers do have to go through when raising a child.